the people here in the UAE love going to the desert.
So some people will love to go there to do a barbecue. Other people would take it to the extreme. I've seen some people have big TVs with PlayStation.
Really big TVs.
It's like a 5-star desert experience.
I used key things that he said and I fed that back because that shows that I'm listening. And that's the whole point of validation, is you're letting the other person know, hey, I'm listening to you.
You validated how important this past year was for me.
You start off by validating, and now I have so many opportunities to ask so many cool questions.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ammar.
And my name is Hannah.
And we are the Love Coaches.
We're on a mission to help as many single Muslims find their potential spouse. Come and listen to our incredible journey of how we met each other.
And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you really love our content.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Ammar.
And I'm Hannah.
And we are the Muslim Love Coaches. And today we're taking you on another adventure. We're going to, where, Hannah?
We're going to an area called the Central Region. So this is not in Dubai, it's in the UAE. It's in the neighboring part of the UAE called Sharjah. And it's not in mainland Sharjah, it's in the regional part of Sharjah. So literally we're going regional UAE today. We're going to take you in the heart of the mountains and the desert, so you can actually see what the rest of the UAE looks like. Because when people think of Dubai, they think of Burj Khalifa and they think of
Tall
Dubai
buildings.
Mall and Dubai big buildings. But actually the most of the UAE looks like, very much as you can see from the footage from our dash cam, it's actually desert. And so we want to take you around and we want to show you around. This is the area that I used to actually work at. So as a teacher, I actually used to work at a school right in the heart of the mountains, and it was so beautiful. Every morning I'd be driving in the mountains, driving past all this beautiful desert, and as you can see right now, it's desert. Like, what do you see up ahead at petrol station? Which is absolutely beautiful. Before we get started, let's start with the dua. So Ammar, would you like to take us away with the dua?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So it's going to be a different dua. It's a
What's the dua?
الركوب. سبحان الذي سخر لنا هذا وما كنا له مقرنين وإنا إلى ربنا لمنقلبون. بسم الله توكلنا على الله.
Bismillah. Beautiful. So we are going to the Central Region in the heart of Sharjah, and we're going to show you around, show you the beautiful mountains, show you the desert. The thing, I'm not sure if you know about this, but the people here in the UAE love going to the desert. So Ahmad, tell us about why people love going to the desert. What do they do in winter in the desert?
Especially right now, like the weather is changing from being extremely deadly hot to acceptable, and you can actually step outside without being like a bottle of water.
I love that.
Honestly, like the minute you step outside without air conditioning, you're gonna be turned into a bottle of water. You're gonna sweat. Like, people go out to the desert because it's beautiful weather. They get out of all this busyness and the fast life. They just chill in the desert.
Yeah.
So it depends. Some people just love to go. Usually we go at night.
Yeah.
When the weather is really nice and cold, and it gets really cold. It's not like you need your jackets. You need
so beautiful. It's
you
so
need
beautiful. You need your jackets, and you need to rug up. And most people do like a barbecue in the desert. So they will do like. I remember when Ammar took me last year.
Yeah.
We had a barbecue and we were warming our hands on the fire because it was quite
so
cold, subhanAllah. So that's what people do, and then they drive in the desert with their 4-wheel drives, because 4-wheel drives are a big thing here.
Yep.
So in order to enjoy the desert, you really do need a 4-wheel drive, and you go in literally the desert, and you have like a picnic, which is like they also have, like we saw last time, they actually had like a massive tent, like an outdoor tent where people would come and they'd invite their friends and family, and they'd do like barbecues. And
that's why I said it depends. So some people will love to go there to do a barbecue, drink tea, play, I don't know, cards, play different games. Other people would take it to the extreme. I've seen some people have their full-on big TVs with PlayStation.
Really big TVs?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have a full-on party in the desert.
There you go.
It's like a 5-star desert experience. So it depends, but usually we go. We have barbecue, it's the best thing.
Yes.
And then have tea,
And then
just sit in the cold, where you're just your feet touching the desert, the sand. It's so cold.
Oh, so beautiful.
And you're connecting with nature. Honestly, that's the best part.
That is the best part. So the desert is a big thing here in the UAE. So when it gets cold, you see everybody rush into the desert at night. And just enjoying the beautiful weather. As you can see right now from the footage, you can see the beautiful mountains up ahead. Like they're just like literally desert mountains, which is absolutely, subhanAllah, absolutely gorgeous and picturesque. So yeah, this is a little bit about desert life here. And so we are really excited that the weather is cooling down. So
the winter is coming.
When are we going to the desert? Tell me, when are we going to go?
We're going to be going to the desert.
I can't wait.
And we're going to take you with us, inshallah.
Yes, we'll take you guys, come along with us, and we'll show you what a desert night experience is like here in the UAE, inshallah, which is super fun.
Inshallah.
So what we're discussing today is something that I hear a lot of single Muslim women come to me and say, Ammar. So I'd like to share this with you. And they come to me and they say, like, Hannah, I'm getting to know guys on the app, but I'm just having shallow conversations with them and it's not moving into anything deep. It's not moving into anything meaningful, and they feel stuck at that. And they feel like they're trying to strike up conversations, but they're getting one words or very few words in response. So today we're going to be discussing a concept called building love maps. And I'm going to share something that I actually have never shared with you. Actually, it just popped into my mind to share with you. So first of all, what is love maps? It's a concept developed by the Gottman Institute. So for those that don't know what the Gottman Institute, they're the leading institute in relationships all over the world. They have over 25 years of research on couples and have followed them around. Really amazing work.
Their work is unbelievable.
Yes,
honestly.
And me and Ahmad are further pursuing more studies with the Gottman Institute at the moment because we actually really love the work that they do, and they've helped us so much in our relationship, and we love that what we get to teach our clients as well. And so the concept of a love map is, it's like you're building like a mind map in your mind of the person, so you know what conversations to strike. So let me give you an example. So when I was getting to know Ammar, I had like a note section in my phone where I would jot down major notes about him. Like, okay, his name's Ammar. He has he has 6 nephews and nieces, and he told me the names of them and their ages, and I put them on that note so that if he was to bring up, I don't know, one of his nephews and he mentioned the name, I would know, oh, this is that nephew. So it's sort of like you're building a mind map in your mind about this person, and it's like a reference point so that you can make conversations about those things. So I could be like if you say, oh, I saw my nephews and nieces on the weekend, I could say, oh, tell me a little bit about how you spend time with, and I could mention their names. And so this is a really great way to build rapport with somebody and to remember important facts and details about them. So that's what a love map is. And it's a really great way.
That's a really nice way to explain it. It's really lovely.
I actually need to find the notes to show you what the notes were that I took of you.
We're gonna put it.
Yeah, let me see if I still have it. I hope I still have it. Inshallah, I still have it.
Inshallah.
It's just a beautiful way.
It's so cute.
Yeah, thank you. And subhanAllah, this concept, I actually saw my mum do it very well growing up.
Wow.
Where she would have a conversation with somebody and then remember important things about them. Like she'd build a love map in her mind about that person, and then when she'd see them again, she'd ask them exactly about something that they had mentioned. And that's why people felt very connected to my mum, Allah yarhamha. Like she really cares because she remembers like things that they would tell her. Like say for example that
it'll make them feel special.
It makes them feel special.
Like, oh, she remembered.
And so this is one way you develop how to move from shallow to deep conversations, by developing a love map of that person and remembering important facts and details about them. And you can keep it in a note section in your phone if you're getting to know someone, like what's important. And it's a great way to strike up conversation. So if you ever feel stuck, you can just go to those notes and then you can just pull out something, be like,
so smart.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I remember Ammar told me he had an operation on his knee. So I could be like, hey, just checking in. I remember you said you had an operation on your knee a couple of months ago. How is that going? And that's a really beautiful way to bring in a different branch. Yeah, so
to get to know the person from a different angle.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna because I feel like people are coming to ask the same question over and over again, and that feel repetitive, or it feel like, and you could feel like it's
stale.
That the relationship is being dry and there's no action in it. It's a really nice way to tackle this.
It's so beautiful because it keeps the conversation fresh, it keeps the conversation intimate, and it keeps the conversation really personal, and it gives you so many different types of questions you can ask them just based on the information you collate of them and what they're saying and what they're sharing about themselves. So that's what a love map is. And so we wanted to introduce you to this concept of a love map so that you can start implementing it in your relationships. And this the beautiful thing about love maps is it's not just limited to, you know, people that you're getting to know. You can do it with your mum and dad, you can do it with your friends, you can do it with colleagues at work, you can do it literally with anyone. And it works so beautifully because it feels so intimate and it feels like they care about me. So love maps. So we're going to give you an example today of what questions you can ask, open-ended questions you can ask to develop more information about the person so you can put it in your love map so then you can ask it to them later on. So the first question I'm going to ask you, Ammar, this is an example of an open-ended question. What has this year been like for you, Ammar?
Oof.
See how open-ended that is? See how he can take it in whatever way he wants, and then you can jot down main points, and I'll tell you what main points I'm going to jot down so you can see how this works. So, Ammar, whenever you're ready and comfortable.
Honestly, it's been a huge year. If I look back 1 year from now to the person that I was, the amount of change that I've introduced in my life, that you've introduced in my life, is unbelievable. Alhamdulillah. Honestly, if I would summarize my life for the past year in one word, it would be growth.
Wow.
I've been growing immensely in this past year. I've been putting so much effort in trainings, learning, and growing. I've changed so many things in my life. Alhamdulillah.
So beautiful. I love that. So let's pause there and let me just show you what we're doing with this information right now in my mind. So Ammar said that this year has been really big for him and that he's created so much change in his life, and the major word that he used was growth. And so
I feel like a rat lab.
It's for the audience. It's for the audience. You're the rat lab for the audience.
Well, a lab rat. Lab rat. I feel like a lab rat.
Oh, you're a cute lab rat. So that's all that matters. So then what I'm going to do, instead of saying, thank you so much for sharing. So I have so many opportunities to take this now on a deeper level. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to validate what he said. And validation means you're going to acknowledge what he says rather than just being like, thanks for sharing, and then just talking about yourself. I'm going to be like...
Or even what we have seen people do is like, they don't know how to transition from when someone is sharing something really deep to another thing in the conversation. And we've seen that a lot. And even with professionals, when you would share something really deep, I'd be like, all right. And yesterday I ate macaroni and cheese. I'm like, what about what you just shared?
It's such a weird...
there must be a transition.
There has to be a validation.
The easiest way to transition is to validate what the person has shared with you. And the way to do it is
so a validation is, thank you so much for sharing. I can see how big this year must have been for you. The fact that, you know, you've created so much change in your life and created so much growth. I can see how significant that is to you. See what I did there? I used key things that he said and I fed that back because that shows that I'm listening. And that's the whole point of validation, is you're letting the other person know, hey, I'm listening to you. Yes, I can hear you.
That's how I feel right now. I feel like you've listened to what I'm saying, to what I was saying, and you validated how important this past year was for me.
Yeah, so you start off by validating, and now I have so many opportunities to ask so many cool questions. And so the important ingredient that you need to have is curiosity. You need to be really curious, because he mentioned, say Ammar is a stranger, a guy that I'm getting to know, and he said that I've gone through massive change. I got to get really curious. I'd be like, okay, this is amazing. I'd be like, so I'd love to know more. Tell me more when you say I've created massive change in my life in terms of trainings, in terms of learnings, in terms of, you know, who I am. I'd love to know more about that. Can you share with me more about what you mean by that?
Sure. I'll take you back to a moment when I was doing a training online. It was last year, and I remember I was so scared to show up. It was basically a training with on Zoom with a lot of people.
Training.
Yeah, where we're supposed to just open the camera and share what experiences we had, how we're liking the training. And me coming from my background, I could feel a lot of anxiety. I'd feel fear. I've had a lot of like feelings that stopped me from actually showing up. And I remember telling you that I really don't know about this training. I'm a bit tired maybe, and I don't know what excuses I was coming up with. And I told you, like, I'm thinking about just recording the training and just watching it later. And you told me, you told me something really important. It's like, you really need to check up on yourself, check up with yourself and see how you really feel.
Yeah.
Do you really want to record it to watch it later, or are you just running away from showing up?
Yeah.
The rest is history.
So it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can see, so I'm going to do it as if I'm a stranger, yeah? I can see how significant that must have been for you, how scary it must have been to show up in a room full of strangers and share, and how you felt like you just wanted to run away. And I want to pause, and I want to ask you more about that. So what is the opposite now? So you said that was a year ago. So what is Ammar a year now?
Like, look at what I'm doing right now. Like,
literally on a podcast.
I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing it like right now. I also remembered when we were. So Hannah asked me to do the first podcast, which is going to be on a video. And again, I remember telling you, like, I'm not ready. I'm not I'm not a person who would show up on a podcast and talk on a, like, it wasn't me. That was a different person.
Yeah.
And so yeah, look at the change that I'm doing. Like, I'm showing up on camera. We're showing up on Instagram.
So beautiful.
There is fear, but it's like if it was a 95% fear or anxiety, it would be like 10%, 15%. Alhamdulillah.
So beautiful. I love that you shared that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can see how significant that is. So right now I'm validating Ammar. I can see how significant that is from going to, I don't want to be on camera, I would rather just run away, to now being on camera and doing podcasts and showing up on Instagram. Like, that's a massive change. And I just want to acknowledge you for your strength in creating that change. And it must have required so much hard work. See how beautiful that validation is? Because I'm acknowledging that it is hard work, and I'm acknowledging just how far he's come, subhanAllah. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
And I can even take it a step further, guys. See how, so when he's sharing that, if I'm a stranger, I'd be thinking, well, how did he create that change, right? And so what I can do is I have this opportunity now to then ask him, how did you create that change? Let's get even more curious, because curiosity is the best medicine. But before we get curious, I just want to show you where we are. So as you can see from the outside footage, we are now in an area called Maleha. So this is very close to the central region. And as you can see, there are palm trees. Can you see the absolutely gorgeous palm trees? There are so many palm trees in the beautiful UAE. And as you can see, there are absolutely no high-rise buildings. Yeah. Zero. Like, there's zero high-rise buildings. It's like literally regional UAE, which is absolutely gorgeous. Isn't it just so breathtaking?
It's so beautiful. It's so simple.
Yeah.
You can see nature, you can see just trees.
Yes. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And you can see, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, there's just little local masjid here on the right-hand side. Just little local masjid for the neighboring, people that live here. So it's just so simple and so beautiful. And
it's mostly farms here.
Yeah, mostly farms. What are the farms called here? Azbas?
No, it's
Azbas? Oh, just farms.
Like Mazra.
Mazra. Yeah. And so what do they do in Mazra? Do they just grow plants and grow
You can see they're growing
animals?
palm trees, and some of them have the farms just to...
For animals?
For animals. Some of them is just like a place where they can, like, I don't know, what do they do in farms? They grow things.
They cultivate things. And you can see it's very simple, the farms. Like, it's not house. You don't see...
It's all palm trees, honestly.
Yeah. And you don't see massive mansions or anything here. You literally see sheds. They're like little sheds where these farmers live, and they look after the whole... And there's some sheep here. I don't know if you can be able to see it, but there's sort of like a whole colony. I don't know what's the group of sheep, but there's a lot of sheep here. So yeah, this is how simple life is in regional UAE as we continue our discussion. So let's come back to our discussion, Ahmad. So I'm very curious. You mentioned that you created all of this change. How did you create it?
How did I create that change? Honestly, it was by getting the training from the International Institute of Coaching, where we both studied. Right, it's training, learning, and putting that effort in changing, being able to introduce that change into my life. That's in basic terms.
That's in basic terms. So what I hear you say, and this is another form of validation by saying what I hear you say, and you just feed back what you heard. What I hear you say is that you learn things and then you implemented it in your life straight away.
Definitely. It's like this kind of conversation, right? So I could hear you, the way you are showing up, the way you are speaking in the conversation, and I would just take it on.
Yeah.
I would start implementing in myself.
Yeah.
I'd hear you when we used to talk.
Yeah.
I'd hear you how you talk to me, and I told you it felt like I'm talking to an alien because I've never seen someone in my circle that would talk that way.
Yeah.
And if I would elaborate on that,
yes,
I would never see someone who would validate and acknowledge how beautifully the way you're doing it.
Thank you.
And so what I would do is, first, I think the best training that I got is being with you, honestly.
Aww. Tell me more.
So I told you, I would see, it's like I'm imitating the way you're talking.
Nice.
I'm imitating the way you're showing up.
Yeah.
And just by that, I would take on things without even realizing.
Yeah.
I'd know, I would I would love to acknowledge. I would love to validate you. So I would just take it on.
Yeah.
And I would use it with you. And I think that was the
best practice.
The best practice, and it was the first thing, even before me joining the
coaching institute.
The coaching institute.
So what I hear you say, Ahmad, is that by you seeing me model it and me practicing it, putting it into implementation, it was easier to put it into implementation for you because you already had a reference point of somebody doing it. Is that what I hear you say?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And sometimes that's the most helpful thing, when you see somebody else implement something and how they're implementing it and you get to practice with them, it's
easier.
Yeah, it's so much easier. You get to do the same, like, oh, okay, this is how I do it. So yeah, that's really beautiful. So thank you so much, Ahmad, for sharing that. I think it's really beautiful that you shared with us and me that this year for you has really been about creating change, and that it's been a massive year for change. And for you, the way you've created change is by taking on what you've learned and then implementing it straight away. And I'd love to just say that as your wife, it's been really beautiful watching you implement it, because you're the type of man that, like, when you learn something, you love to implement it straight away. And I think that's a beautiful quality that you have within you, mashallah.
I really appreciate that.
Amazing. So we are now getting into more of the heart of Meleha, which is the area of central region. And as you can see, there is like little buildings on the side of the roads, like little basic buildings, not buildings, like shops, little shops that sell little goods. And I think there's a nail salon up ahead, like just little, but you can see that there's just massive land. It's just desert and land. And I don't know if you can see, there's a masjid up ahead as well in the distance with the mountains. So yeah, it's just a beautiful, absolutely beautiful, basic, breathtaking. And this is the school that I used to work at on the left-hand side. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm just going to say that, yeah, that's the school that I used to work at on the left-hand side, subhanAllah. And what's really beautiful in Ramadan and Eid, they actually decorate the whole street with decorations, which is really nice. It's got all of these Eid decorations and all of these Ramadan decorations, which is so pretty. And I think it's so significant for me. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, when they had the decorations up, I told them, oh my God, there's Eid decorations. And you're like, yeah. And I was like, this is so awesome. And the reason why it's so awesome is because, you're
used to the Christmas.
I'm using to Christmas decoration in Australia. It's like, I really like lights, and like, I really do appreciate the decoration. But I'm like, I always wished there'd be Eid decoration. And so, yeah, so coming to a country that decorates for Eid is so exciting. Yeah, yes. So super, super exciting. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the mountains up ahead in the distance. Maybe not. It's a bit hazy right now. So we're going to continue our drive, and we're going to actually do a little bit of a U-turn right now. And you can see, U-turn means U-turn, by the way. You're going to see like these little cute shops. Like they're so cute, and like, I don't know if you can see them now. Yeah, you can see them now. There's just little cute shops, like very basic, very down to earth. They have character. Like, it just reminds me so much of the Arab world. Doesn't it remind you of like?
Yeah, it's so simple.
So simple, so beautiful. They have like a furniture shop, another furniture shop. I don't know what that is. Another furniture shop, building material, a honey shop. There you go. Another furniture shop. They've got a lot of furniture shops here.
Yeah.
Supermarket.
Cafeteria.
Another furniture shop. Another honey shop. Why so many furniture shops in this little town? Another cafeteria. If you haven't watched our previous episode, you will know what a cafeteria is. So go back and watch our previous episodes. So you know what a cafeteria is. So just some little restaurants, some little cafeterias.
Should we have some abood?
Should we have some abood again? What do you think? I don't mind. But I think I want our awar galb. So for those that watched the previous episode, know that our awar galb is a heartache. It's a drink that's absolutely delicious and something that you must have when you come here in the UAE. So you can just see how simple these strips of shops, and they have like all of the merchandise outside. Okay, let's continue. When I was asking Ahmad that question, we were demonstrating love maps. We were demonstrating how to ask open-ended questions and how to become curious about the person, and just how much one question can take you. That one question that I asked, so what has this year been like for you? See how much conversation that led to. That led to, I don't know, like 3 or 4 follow-up questions. And that's the beauty of asking these open-ended questions, is that you've got so much room to work with. And that's why being curious is the most important ingredient when coming and having a conversation with someone.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
My question is, what criteria should you have in order to have beautiful conversations?
Ooh, I love that question. So open-ended. What criteria should you have in order to have beautiful open-ended questions? Okay, I would say the very first criteria or ingredient you need is curiosity. You need to be curious. If you're not curious, then the conversation is just not going to flow and you're not going to go anywhere. Curiosity is what leads you to want more information about the person, and it's actually so nice for the other person to feel like you're curious about them, like, oh, they want to know more. And that's what I really loved about when we were getting to know each other was Ammar showed me curiosity. Ammar would ask me cool questions, and he'd want to know more. Like when I would say something, he'd give me follow-up questions, which showed curiosity. So I think the very first ingredient is curiosity. You need to bring in heaps and heaps of curiosity. The second ingredient I would say is let go of judgment. And when I say let go of judgment, sometimes it's easy to jump to conclusions when you're talking to somebody and getting to know someone. Though that just chokes the other person in the conversation, and they don't feel like they're validated and heard, and they feel like they can't be themselves. So rather than being judgmental, be curious instead. And so it's the opposite. So if you want to be curious, you can't be judgmental, and if you're judgmental, you can't be curious. Does that make sense? So it's a very important ingredient. I need to stop. The mountains look so beautiful right now, like absolutely gorgeous, and the sun is like almost Maghrib time, the golden hour as they say. It just looks absolutely majestic, subhanallah, just really beautiful. As you can see, there's just plain land for days, which is really beautiful. Being curious, non-judgmental, validation and acknowledgement of what the other person is saying. That's a really important part of what makes a conversation beautiful, because you want the other person to be feel heard and seen, and like that what they're saying really matters. So I would say that as number 3. And number 4 is having the actual tools to communicate. So knowing that you can ask different types of questions rather than saying, how are you? How's your day? You can ask,
what's your name? When were you born? How many brothers and sisters you have? Yeah. All these normal questions. Where have you studied? What do you do for work? How many times do you go to the gym? These are like questions that are like, they're not open-ended.
They're not open-ended. They're just like one word answer. There's a certain. So for example, an open-ended question, it would be like, what made you smile today? Instead of saying, how was your day? You could be like, so what made you smile today? What was the highlight of your day? See how that would just give you so much more scope to ask a really great question.
And we give the other person a very big space to express themselves. They will have to take time to think of the answer.
Yeah.
So that what creates a beautiful conversation.
Yeah. And that's what makes the conversation interesting, right? Like, we don't want to hear the boring questions of how are you, how's your day? Yes, don't ask someone that. I'm not saying don't ask somebody that. I'm just saying what makes you want to talk to somebody and how interesting they are is when you ask those open-ended questions. So yeah, I would say that the next ingredient is equipping yourself with how to ask open-ended questions, so that you can make the conversation more depth, have more depth, I should say. So yeah, I would say that those are the ingredients to have a beautiful conversation, Ammar.
Thank you for sharing. That was really beautiful.
Thank you for asking. All right, the question I have for you, Ammar, is what is your intention? Actually, no, I'll say it this way. What is one word or a couple of words, let's say 3 words. What are 3 words that you'd like next year to be for you?
To be what?
To stand for next year. You know how you said this year was growth? What 1 or 3 words would you use for next year?
I'd pick stability. And the reason for me picking this word is, I don't know if people know, if you're watching us, we're expecting a new baby, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And yeah, I'd pick stability because that's what you would be looking for when you're having
a baby.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing it. It makes sense that you choose the word stability for next year, considering we are pregnant and we are going to have a baby. And so for you would love things to be stable. I'd love to know your definition of what does stability mean for you?
Stability means having a constant rhythm in life. So that means I'm not going to be looking to grow. I'm looking to have it's like I want to have the same day go over and over and over and over again.
Routine.
With like I'm looking to have the same routine over and over again.
Yeah.
In order for me to provide that stability for my kid.
Oh, I love that. So what I hear from you is you would love to have stability, and for you stability means routine, and that's like having the same day, and for you that will help you show up better for our family and for our kid, inshallah, future baby.
Definitely.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for asking.
Beautiful.
I'll ask you the question, the same one that you have asked me. If you would choose one word for last year, what would it be?
For next year or last
year?
This last year? Oh, wow. I would say, this is so hard, that word. I can't just choose one word.
Yeah.
I would say bravery.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I would say bravery because we've made some really big, bold decisions in our life. Like, I don't know if people know what our big, bold decisions are. We've done really big, bold things.
All right, let's start with last year. What's the first thing you've done?
We moved houses.
All right.
Moved apartments.
Yeah.
What else?
You were already doing this job, right?
Yeah, I had been already, but I decided that I wanted to do it longer at that point, extend my contract.
Yeah.
So that was one big bold decision. Another big bold decision we made was we wanted to start a family.
Yeah.
Another big bold decision was I decided I wanted to stop working as a teacher again. I decided that I wanted to resign. You decided you wanted to resign. We decided to start Muslim Love Coaches together. And then we've made a lot of big, bold decisions for our life ever since then about, you know, what we want life to look like moving forward. So, yeah.
I love that. I love the word bravery.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of courage to make these big decisions in your life, especially when, you know, we have this need for certainty.
Yeah.
That it needs to be a certain way, and I think we've let go of that for higher purpose and a higher mission in our life, and I think that's really brave of us. So
thank you for sharing that. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Okay.
The question would be, what helped you because as you said, it required so much bravery. What helped you take these decisions and move on with your life taking these decisions?
I love that question, and I appreciate your curiosity. I love how curious you are about that. What helped me make those big, bold decisions is a couple of things. First of all, checking in with myself and asking myself what's aligned with my visions and my values. Like checking in, what is it that I really want in my life? That was the first one. And then leaning upon, and talking about it with you was really important because I needed clarity and I needed someone to bounce ideas off and to help me sort of work through what's in my mind. Yeah. And then the last thing is leaning upon Allah. There's no way I think I would have stayed sane if I didn't lean upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's scary. It's when you're in that making that decision and going through with that feeling of I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Is this crazy?
Am I actually leaving my job?
Am I actually leaving my job?
I'm gonna start my business.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I would say are the three things that
I love that.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that.
And I can see why it's so scary. Such big steps.
Yeah, subhanAllah. When I just look back, by the way, today is our 2-year engagement anniversary. So 2 years ago, I came to Dubai for the first time to meet Ammar with my dad and my brother. And on this day, on the 29th of October, we actually got engaged officially. So we made it official that we were getting to know each other. And here we are 2 years later. And I was just saying this to Ammar,
It sounds like more than 2 years, man.
It feels like we've been married and know each other for how many years does it feel like for you?
I don't know, 5 at least, 10
Yeah.
years.
At least 5. What do you mean 2 years? Yeah, so subhanAllah how things change over time. And it's not just because time is changing, it's because you decide to make those changes, right? It's how you show up in your life. And as you can see, as we're still driving down, this is a major highway that connects Sharjah, like
Other cities.
to the other cities. And what's the speed limit, Ammar? Tell us about speeding here
So
and
I
how
think
it's...
you can see, I don't know if, I'm not sure if you're going to see it. It says 120. And so there is a 20 kilometers
leeway.
Leeway.
Can you believe
buffer,
it?
whatever.
In this country, you know, except for Abu Dhabi, by the way, you can go 20 kilometers over the speed limit. This is like a speed limit grace. So they give you a grace period, which is really lovely. So instead of 120, you actually go 140 down this road. And I just want you to take a moment. That is a massive speed. But, you know, when I first started driving here, I was so scared of these roads. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go down 120 roads. They're so scary. And then when I started driving down
MashaAllah, you've been driving 140.
150,
Seriously.
150, and I got a few fines. So, yeah, so you sort of just get used to the comfort of driving stuff. And I used to overtake people and go on the fast lane.
Alhamdulillah.
That's the comfort thing. And also tell us about radars here and speeding cameras. Tell us about how they work.
Yeah, so the minute you step 141, 142, you get a fine. It gets sent to your phone number.
You get an SMS.
Yeah, saying you got a fine for, I don't know, 600, 700 dirhams.
Yeah.
And that's it, yeah.
The thing is, there's not just like
One or two, always,
there is
wherever you go.
like every 100 kilometers there's another one. So in Australia they actually warn you if there's a speed camera ahead. They says speed camera ahead, so you slow down.
So what's the point of it?
It's nice that they warn you, don't you think? But still, even if by warning people still get the speed.
No, but how do they warn you? I don't get it.
There's a sign, speed camera ahead.
No way.
Wallah.
Oh, but that's normal. Like, there are some signs here that says the street is full of radars.
No, but this tells you because
like this, you can see this.
Yeah, but in Australia it tells you there's actually one ahead because there's not one every 100 meters in Australia. But they have now mobile speed cameras where there's a car parked on the side of the road and it catches you, but yet they still warn you, mobile speed camera ahead.
They're so nice.
They are so nice.
Considerate.
But people get still fined.
Yeah, sometimes because not always
you're not paying attention.
Yeah, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, so you can get a lot of fines. So if you're not paying attention down a main road, you can cop like 10, 15 fines in one go.
And yeah, that's going to cost you a lot.
That's going to, also here they have a sale on discounts on when you can, like, when you get a fine, you don't need to pay it straight away. You can wait until they have the discounted period so you can get like 50% off your fine. Yeah. Which I think is really funny in Australia.
What do you mean funny? When you have some people have tens, thousands of, not even tens, they have 100,000s of fines. And so when you have all these amounts.
What do you mean you have 100,000
I swear to God,
fines?
some people will have crazy amounts. They get jailed because of fines.
Wow. Yeah. That's
so
unbelievable.
A 50% discount will go a
long way.
Yeah.
It's just funny that you have a 50% discount. Why do they do 50%? In Australia, they if you don't pay the fine on time, it just gets more expensive. They keep putting penalties on you, and then you lose more points, etc. I think it's funny that you get 50% off.
Not at all. Not according to the people who live here. It's pretty amazing.
So thank you so much for watching, guys. We hope that you loved our vlogcast today where we took you into regional UAE and we showed you just what regional UAE looks like. It's very basic, very beautiful, very deserty, very mountains.
And please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video if you liked it, and drop us comments below. Where would you like us to take you next time?
Yes.
It could be anywhere, honestly.
We're willing to make that drive.
we are willing to make the drive, and we also can take you places. If you have a special place to go to, we can actually go and experience it outside the car. So just let us know in the comments below, and inshallah we'll make it happen.
And until next time, salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.